Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. You wake up 2 hours late for work. Would you still go? Why not? When I wake up on time I still have this dilemma. Me too. This morning was rough. Edit, seems like it's rough for a lot of us today. Hope your day get better everyone. According to the lady in AP, that's called a case of the Mondays. Yep. I'm usually punctual and my boss is not a huge pain in the ass. Also, if I don't go, the clients are more of a pain than my boss and the next day I'd have to overwork myself to catch up on work. That's what people who are chronically late don't realize. If you're punctual 99% of the time people don't get mad when you're late, they're usually genuinely worried that something went wrong. And if it was just a mistake, they tend to cut you slack because it isn't consistent behavior. I learned that while working a shitty kitchen job. Woke up like a half hour after my shift and just ran to work. Arrived just as service started but my boss didn't give a shit, he was worried I was dead. Bro, I'm a fast food cashier and I'm always early around time, and I was 15 minutes late the other day and my boss texted and called me, panicked wondering if I was dead. Edit, I just got Employee of the Month, y'all. At 2.5 Kelvin upvotes. Not to mention colleagues that have to make up for your absence where applicable. Not applicable to my case because I have a specialized role in my law firm. If there's any work I leave behind, only I can and have to do it. Op seems to be 2 hours late but still wants some advice. Oh shit, I'm 2 hours late. Better Askreddit. Spends another 2 hours reading replies, okay, guess I'm going in now. For my job. I'd get an official warning if I was 2 hours late. If I didn't show up at all I'd likely get fired. You get sick days. Edit, some of you guys are crazy. I simply asked the dude if he gets sick days. An official warning for being late seems strict, especially if it's a single or rare occurrence. How some of you jumped from me asking this to being a lazy slacker that is a shit employee is beyond me. At my job, you have given our advanced call out before a shift that you are late. If you don't, it's discipline. If you are not there for your shift, that's a no call, no show. 2 of those and you are fired. Cut and dry. Nurse, if you are wondering. Wouldn't calling in sick 2 hours late be worse than being late? To me that would look like someone's having a bad hangover or something like that. Edit, since some of my comments are being overread further down I'll add some context and specific answers here. First off, I'm Finnish, we have a very different system, but it seems our mentalities differ more than I thought too. We have a very generous system for sick leave, but it's incredibly frowned upon to abuse it. All of my comments are specifically in the context of calling in sick 2 hours late versus telling your boss you overslept. I'm getting a lot of examples where it can happen very reasonably. Almost all of them are 1, easily explained if they are true, but very big lies to tell, 2, reoccurring where your employer would likely be aware, or 3, require more than 1 day away. They can be used without giving much detail to your employer, but they are very big lies to tell for oversleeping 2 hours. Some people are also pointing out there are different systems with more flexibility for calling in sick. Most likely you have no reason to worry about being 2 hours late in that case either. Lastly, I know my boss isn't my friend, because he isn't pretending to be, but I have no need to be afraid of anyone in a management position in my company, unless I start lying about my absences. Late equals doghouse. No call no show equals fired guy. Fire guy becomes the fired guy. Ryan started the fire. Doghouse. It's a structure with 4 walls and a roof that dogs live in, but that's not important right now. Colloquialism in American English. To be in the doghouse is to be in a fair amount of trouble for your actions. As if your family has a dog that is typically indoors, but did something bad, so its punishment is to sleep out in the doghouse. Better to show up late than never. Just like periods. Frankly, never is fine with me. Expecting mine in about half a year. Yes. I have flexible work hours and as long as I fulfill my work duty within the month, I'm okay. I want a job like that. I hate going in 9 to 5 just to sit there doing nothing because I have to work a certain number of hours regardless if there's any work left to do. Not the OC, but I'm hourly, I still need to get 40 if I want my full pay. My boss just gives 0 shits if those hours are worked 9 to 5, 6 to 2, or 12 to 8. Trust me, hourly works out in the worker's favor more often than salary. Most places see salary as an excuse to just pile on additional work without increasing staffing. No. Flight would be cancelled. And I'd probably be in big trouble. So, are you an airplat? Yep. I'm typing with my landing gear right now. There's this thing in Germany we call Glitseat. It lets you come and go whenever you want between 7 o'clock and 20 o'clock as long as you fulfill your daily target time. So you basically have 13 hours time to get your 7 to 8 hours of work done. Edit, spelling and wow, this blew up lol. That's how my office works, but I'm in the US. We don't get a cool name for it though. I thought it's called flexible work hours. Edit, it's called flex time. Work-life balance. I'd still go in. My job is home-based and salaried though. As long as I work an hour I get credit for a full day. Back when I was bartending, same answer. Being late in the service industry is putting your work onto someone else. Get there so whoever is covering for you can go home, or so everyone's workload becomes more manageable. How do I get a home-based job where I can work an hour? She shall quit my job and work for you, right Mo? Many salaried positions are work an hour, counts for the day because you aren't paid to work hours, you're paid to get a job done. If you get the job done quicker, you have more time. If it takes you longer, you work longer. If you only work an hour every day, the job doesn't get done, your ass gets canned. Yeah. It's still your job, and if you work 8-hour days, you'll still have 6 to go. Maybe you can stay late to make up the time. Regardless, oversleeping is a common screw-up. It doesn't mean that you just take the whole day off. You just go in late. You can take a sick day if you still have them. You can't call in sick 2 hours after your shift is meant to start though. At least in my job, you have to call at least an hour before, 24-hour industry. I would call up, apologize and offer to work late. Mistakes happen, and as long as it's not a regular thing I think my company would be okay with that. This is basically how I do it. I wake up and realize I'm 2 hours late. Am I hungover? Yes, call in sick. No, go in and bring doubts/biscuits/ bagels for everyone to make up for it. Am I sick? Yes, but I don't feel horrible, work from home. Yes, and I feel like death, call in sick. No, go in and bring doubts/biscuits/ bagels for everyone to make up for it. Is the late commute going to be abysmal because of traffic incidents? Yes, work from home. No, go in and bring doubts/biscuits/ bagels for everyone to make up for it. Do I feel stressed from work lately? Yes, call in sick and take a mental health day. No, go in and bring doubts/biscuits/ bagels for everyone to make up for it. If you're going to be late enough to bring snacks. Funny enough, that actually worked for me lol. A couple of jobs ago I was under a lot of stress and was late because of it. My boss just let it slide for a while, but eventually he had to give me a warning, fair enough. I was late the day after the warning because of a medical emergency, but I brought him a coffee. He said, well good, at least if you're going to be late you can be late enough to bring me a coffee. We did eventually talk and we worked out a schedule that was better for me and all was fine, but any time I was late after that I'd bring him a coffee. The flow chart is the best reply so far. Nope. My job has a point-based attendance policy. Being late less than 1 hour is half a point, over an hour is 1 point. Calling off is also 1 point. We can call off up to 3 hours into our shift. After 3 it is considered a no-call no-show, which is worth 3 points. So no, it isn't worth even going to work by their policy. My old job had a policy where if you were late then your pay would start at the next 15-minute interval. You get in 9:03, pay starts 9:15. I was almost never late, though one day I got in just before my shift, but due to signing in, I wasn't ready to take calls till 9:03. I asked my manager, who was just sitting down himself, if my pay would be affected, seeing as it was the systems that prevented me signing on. He confirmed my pay started at 9:15. So I took off my headset and got my book out. He wasn't happy, said I should do the job as I am ready. I told him I would start when my pay did. I already used to get stuck on calls after my shift for no extra pay, no way am I doing it before. They also deducted pay for any time in the toilet. Fuck that place. They can't make you work late without pay. I would also question pay deductions for bathroom breaks. What country is this in? My current job. No, it's fucking hell and it makes me miserable. But in general, yeah, I would go. That's how I feel. I'm treated generally pretty poorly at my work and people generally dislike me for some reason. I called into work a couple days ago to say I was going to be late by half an hour, only to be talked to like a child and told essentially nope. You're coming in on time and that's that. It feels really weird to tell your work, hey sorry but I'm running late. I'll be there in half an hour, and to just hear the words you're scheduled for this time. And that's it. I didn't even know what to say, so I was just like okay you got it and hung up. Like look bro, I'm not calling to ask may I please be late, sir. I'm calling to say I'm gonna be late. That really irked me and I ended up just not going in because I was pretty pissed and in that moment thought I should just quit right now. I start school in 2 weeks anyway. What's the point in sticking it out at a place I'm miserable at? So I ended up just not showing up period. Now I'm at a position where I pretty much regret doing that, and now I want to go in on my next scheduled days to at least finish out the week. I at the very least have to go on to get my paycheck. It feels extremely awkward and I'm dying of anxiety over here. Judging by your comment, it sounds like this is just a filler job, so your current employer and co-workers will likely mean very little to you in the grand scheme of things. Let's say that you go in for your next scheduled shift, what's the worst thing that could happen? They bitch at you. You say that you tried calling to give them a heads up and that you were made to feel uncomfortable. There's really only a limited number of likely scenarios that could happen here and none of them end horribly. If they fire you, you take your paycheck and move on. If they don't, you work your scheduled shifts and eventually still move on. That paycheck is owed to you and they can make it as awkward as they'd like, but all you have to do is grab it, walk out and don't look back.